All right, welcome back. I'm Jake, and I'm working on a few videos during the COVID-19 to help my students out and just for fun. Anyway, I'm down in my pottery studio today, and I made a few pots yesterday. You can see the other videos I made of me making a few of these. Anyway, I'm making some mugs. So today I'm gonna trim the bottoms of these, and then I'm gonna add some handles. So that's our plan for today. There's a few different ways we can trim. At school, there's an easy way, and then there's kind of the right way. Um, you can do either one. There's a few considerations. If the bottom of your pot's just way too thin, you just got to kind of look at it and test it. And I could probably trim this one, but just for a demonstration, I'm gonna just do a quick little. This is the easy way to trim it. It's not necessarily the right way to do it. But you just trim it by hand. So you can see it's kind of real sharp along that edge. I'm just going to take my fingers and I'm just going to go around and just get that sharp edge off there. Again, I don't really care about fingerprints so much. It doesn't bother me. But if you're a real perfectionist, you can definitely smooth out all those fingerprints. So basically, I'm just going to take and get all the kind of sharp edges off the clay. Just got it started. A sponge works great for this. If you just have a damp sponge, you don't want it real wet because you don't want to add too much water. My clay is I lightly covered my pieces with plastic last night. The heat's still on in the house yet, even though it's the middle of May. But so they did dry out pretty well. They're about leather hard. So I just smoothed it out really nice. Okay. You want to get as much of the rough stuff off of it. You don't want it cutting people or cutting into your table, wrecking woodwork after you fire it. So you want it as smooth as you can. The other thing I like to do after I get it smoothed out is I'll just kind of push in a little bit. So I'll just kind of take and just push in the center just a hair, just so it's a little concaved. All right, then I'll just take a tool, needle tool or something, and I'll just go ahead and sign my name on it. That way I know whose it is. If you don't put your name on your stuff in the studio, it's hard to tell whose it is. And some other kid will probably pick it up and say it's his. So if you want to keep the pots you made, put your name on them. All right, so I'll just go ahead and put my name on there. All right, blah, blah, done. And that's it for trimming that style. The other way we can trim is on the pottery wheel, which is more the right way to trim stuff. And so we're going to go ahead and do that right now. We'll just go over here to the wheel, and I'll grab the next pot. This looks like a good one. Kind of looks like the one I made the other day. Just scoot this up here so you can see. All right, hey, Pebbles is coming down. Come on, Pebbles. Debs, come on. Hey, come help. Maybe she'll come over and help today. We'll see. She never made it down yesterday for the demos. Pebbles, come on. She's coming over. Hi. Hello, Pebbles. Can you say hi to everybody? Pebbles, say hi. She's my helper. Studio cat. Helper cat. Kind of fat cat. We kind of got her on a diet. But it's not working too well. Because she likes to beg, and we give in to her sometimes. Anyway, for trimming pots and the wheels, you just need a little bit of clay to help hold your pot in place. So I just got a little bit of clay out of the bucket there. The first thing we got to do, as I know you guys are just beginners and you're probably having a hard time with centering, but the next thing we get to do is recenter the pot on the wheel. Yay! Anyway, I like to check out the pots before I start trimming them. I'll look at the bottoms, and I'll kind of try and judge how much clay is there. There's quite a bit on the bottom of this one. So I will, just kind of eye it up and kind of judge how much clay I can take off. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pot, I'm going to flip it upside down. I'm going to set it, I'm going to use these little, there's usually some lines on the wheel. So you can line it up with those lines, try and center it as close as you can with those. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just get 3 balls of clay, just 3 little balls of clay. You don't need anything crazy, but you'll kind of put them around the pot and you'll push the clay down onto the wheel head so it sticks there. Don't push it into the pot because then you get clay all over the pot. You gotta try getting it off, and that's no fun. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna center this pot on the wheel. So we're just gonna turn the wheel on and get going here. So the way I like to do is like just get it spinning a little bit, and then I'll just take my needle tool and I'll just come in from the outside until it touches. Okay, now I got a line on there. I don't know if you can see it real well, but there's kind of a heavier line that I cut in. And where that line is, it needs to move away from you. So I'll see where that line's the biggest. And I'll just make little adjustments. So I'll just move it that way just a hair, and I'll tighten down my wads, and I'll try it again. All right, now I'm getting pretty close, so I think sometimes you just got to call it close enough. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find a trimming tool. There's a few different ones that I like to use. Just your plain old hoop tool and your other one here. So I will go ahead and start trimming some clay off here. Again, I checked out the inside to see how it looks, so I know kind of how much clay I want to take off. I'm going to start by dealing with the outside here. It's a little bit of clay from when I trimmed it on the wheel yesterday. So I'm going to take a little bit of that off, just kind of smooth it out there. Okay, I like to make kind of a little handle at the bottom, so when you're picking these pots up later on, when you're glazing them, or if you're taking them out of the dishwasher, you can easily pick them up while they're upside down. So what I like to do is just carve a little notch into them. So I'll just take one of my loop tools here, and I'll just carve just kind of a little notch. You see that groove? Now you can easily lift it up. All right, and a lot of times I'll just kind of smooth this in to the rest of the pot. You kind of look at it, make sure it looks right. I got a lot of finger marks in here, so I might kind of fake a few finger marks, kind of make those throwing marks look like they continue through. A lot of times I'll just get my fingers wet, and I'll just go ahead and put those marks back in. All right, so now we got the edge of the pot, looks pretty good. Now I'm going to just get the trim into the center of the pot here, and we just want to create a little foot. So you just want a little space where the pot's going to rest on the kiln shelves or on your table. So we're just going to pick a line out here. Just carve in a little bit. Again, I kind of really looked at my pot before I started trimming it to make sure how much clay I could take off here. So now I just got a line established here in the middle. I know it might be a little hard to see. Let's see. I don't have quite the best angle, but I'm just taking some clay out of the center of the pot now. So now I got my line established out here. I'm gonna just start in the middle and work my way towards it. Again, I'm just taking off a little bit of clay. You don't have to take a ton out. Just enough so it's kind of a little divot. If you like the tool marks, you can just leave them. If you don't like the tool marks, just take your tool and turn it this way and smooth it out. All right. And the shape of the pot should kind of determine the shape of your foot. So if the inside of this pot was rounded, I would round the outside of the pot to kind of mimic the inside. All right, this is this is a coffee cup, so it's not rounded or anything. So now I'm done cleaning up here. One thing I do like to do sometimes, if you want your piece to be pretty smooth, I like to dip my finger in water or take my sponge, and I'll just make sure this foot, where it touches the table, is as smooth as I can get it. A lot of times I'll smooth out the inside with my finger a little bit too. And that's it. This pot's trimmed. Now we can take it off the wheel. Again, at this point you can smooth out any spots. It's always easier to do it now. You never want to sand a pot when it's dried out because the dust is bad for you. So everything you're doing right now, you want to work your pots while they're in this kind of semi-wet, leather hard, still kind of workable. Again, make sure you sign your pots. If you don't sign your pots, you probably won't get them back, okay? So whenever you're doing ceramics at school, make sure you're signing the bottoms of your pots or the side of your pot, or you could also make some sort of your own signature. It's up to you. just make sure you put something on it so we know it's yours and not somebody else's. The other kids, they like to, that they, if you make something really nice, they're like, I think that's mine. And it's really yours, so please put your name on the bottoms. All right, I'm going to add handles to these in a little while. I'm going to go say hi to Pebbles here. I'm going to set this one aside. Thanks for watching the trimming demonstration today. And I'm going to look forward for the handles are coming up next. All right. Hope you enjoyed it.